Welcome back to the second hour of LoveBabz, LoveTalk. I'm Babz Rawls-Ivy. I'm talking the third year of Amplify the Arts in Hamden with Karimah Mickens, who is the town clerk for Hamden and my sorority sister. Hello, darling.
Hello, how are you?
You look so bright and radiant.
Listen, I was trying to make it to like a conference room that's like kind of cool and has good spacing, but work won't let me be great. I'm gonna take an early lunch and I'm gonna move. And it's like, no, but I'm here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, no, it's my pleasure. 3 years. You're in your third year of Amplify the Arts. Did you think that you wanted something to just continue on like this?
So yes, and yes. I was looking for a place, where when I think of Amplify the Arts, right? Amplify the Arts is the art moves people, play on that wording. And just looking for spaces that are lifting up the arts, which is happening all over the place in New Haven and in Hamden. So culturally there's a lot of art that's happening. But I love putting on events. I love creating spaces where people come together and enjoy one another. That was always the thought. So, combining my love for the arts and doing events, I said, okay, let's go for it. And so anything I do, I want to get bigger and better. Yeah, I kind of have 3 years, 4 years, 5 years in mind.
So it's at the Eli Whitney Barn where it was last year.
Yes.
And it's this weekend over Saturday and Sunday. So tell me what the lineup is, because it looks like I love all the social media and the video and all. I was like, oh, they done stepped their game up.
Yes, yes. The great news about it is we're partnering with the town of Hamden. We partner with them year one. And shout out to the people that started this with me. So Ife, and I didn't know anything about these art streets, just trying to understand the who's and who was who and all of that. She brought me along, gave me an idea on who to reach out to and things like that. And you being a great resource, and that's how it started. The second year, we the town supported as well. And then now we're here, and it's a partnership with the town of Hamden at the barn. It was a great space last time, had a good vibe. So we thought, why not do it again? And so, yeah, the lineup is pretty cool. We have some amazing local artists. And when I say local, that's like the Hamden, New Haven, Greater New Haven area. The Amplified Arts, when we first started, the intent of it was to create space for like LGBTQ plus youth, our BIPOC community. And so that's what we're continuing to do. I'm like, I don't even know how I'm doing this. We have 56 youth entries. I was like, wait a minute, what's happening here? 56. Okay, between
Wow.
Stanford, New Haven, and Hamden, Transcend the Trends. They are our partners and they help get us the youth artists. And so they did that work. And so we'll have them exhibiting. I have the artist that I have is Greg Aim, Shonda Holloway, Edward Jefferson, Iyaba Mandingo, Linda Mickens, my
Yeah,
mom. Jasmine Nicole,
I love her.
Darnell St. Pfeiffer, Shauna Melton, and Kuli Mushi Baron Gazi. I hope I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, but these are all artists that I adore, that do great work. So some of them are repeats, and some are new. So that's the lineup in terms of the featured artist.
And you're doing it back at the Eli Whitney Barn, which is a great space.
Mhm.
Because you
Yes.
could walk in and walk through and be out on the other side. Like it's a great space for and it's a barn, so that's quintessential Connecticut. I mean,
Yes.
you know.
Yes. Yes, yes. I think the barn is I like it because it has like that open flow space. So the way that it's set up, it naturally lends itself for a stage. So we have DJs. We have the Female DJ Association. We had them last year. So they're all dope females that will be DJing.
Yay.
It's led by DJ Q Boogie. So you have like that stage area, which I enjoy. So we'll have like some poets and violinists and some performances,
Yeah,
as
you're
well
my
as these like
teacher,
little.
Yara.
Yes, I love her. I love her. Do you remember? I don't know if you were there last year,
I was.
when
I
she started,
videotaped
she
her.
did the violin and
Yeah.
Iaba started doing the poetry and they just like, oh, it was so dope. It was good. Yeah, I love her.
Oh, good. Good. I know she enjoys these kinds of activities
Yes.
and supporting. So, all right. What I want to know is what we eating? Who's what's the food trucks like? What's happening?
Yes, so we have on Saturday, it will be Me Thai, the Caribbean
Oh
food truck.
yeah. Yeah,
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 so he's
yeah.
he's local to Hamden. He does a lot of the food truck festivals and things in the area. So he's curated a menu for us. So it'll be let me see if I can get this right. Curry chicken type of sandwich, and then some shrimp and grits,
Okay.
and then some jerk chicken with some rice or something. So he curated a special menu for us. And so for the attendees that are there, that'll be some complimentary food for you on Saturday. And then on Sunday, we have this truck called, I don't know, Beyond the Salt. They'll be there.
Who
I don't know.
makes
Who are those people?
the best damn Wagyu burger this side of heaven? And I get mine wrapped
Yes.
in lettuce. And
Yeah,
I'm dreaming about it just
I
as
know.
we're
So he'll
talking.
be there on Sunday from 2 to 6. So on Saturday the event runs from 1 to 7. And Sunday it's 2 to 6. And so he'll have, his burgers, his wraps, and things like that. And again, complimentary while supplies last.
Yeah.
And that'll be available to all of our guests as well.
And I think the weather will be great too. I think you have great weather. I mean, it's
I am
fall,
hoping, yeah, I'm hoping for it. I'm
so
hoping for good
it'll be the
weather.
perfect fall crispy
Yes,
crispness weather.
yes,
All right, so
yes.
so Karima, you've been doing this 3 years. What have you learned from year one to now? Because you seem to be very rooted in it now. Like you seem to be like, I got this arts coordination curation game.
I think for me, it's the power of networking, connection and collaboration. So I think, being connected to people that, are interested in being successful, having your ear to the ground, or connected to people who know artists that are looking for opportunities to show their work, and to be parts of this thing. So what I realized is that the art scene is like such a movement. Like even if you don't necessarily see the people, they are moving and they are very supportive community of people. So just Susan Clenard, Susan,
Hmm.
one of my favorite artists. She was part of the Amplify the Arts Festival last year. She was a
Yes.
resident at the barn for years, right? So this was like her, her closing out before she left and she moved to West Haven. And she has open studios in West Haven happening the same time. So the great thing about it, when I reached out to her, I was like, hey, do you want to be a part? She said, oh, I have my own thing happening. And I'm like, awesome. So I'll tell people to go to come to yours and you're gonna tell people to come, like, you know what I mean? I love that everyone is just, they're looking out to make sure that there's space for everybody and to lift up everybody. I appreciate that. So that's what I enjoy most about the whole art scene.
Yeah.
Super.
It's a wonderful ecosystem.
Hmm.
Everybody's always trying to help each other, and established artists are always trying to put on up and coming artists, making
Hmm.
space for them.
Hmm.
It's a really wonderful collaborative community that
Yes.
seems to be growing and
Yes.
becoming quite an economic driver, not just for Greater New Haven, but for the state, right?
Hmm. Yep.
So this is
I
wonderful.
agree.
So you've got poets. You got musicians, you got DJs, you got artists outright. Are people gonna be selling their stuff? Like what?
Yes, absolutely. So we'll have vendors there as well. So there's a bunch of different vendors. I have those names somewhere around here. So they'll be selling, there'll be jewelry, there'll be art. So each of the featured artists will exhibit their work and then they will, of course, sell it. So year one, when I did it, it was more like it felt more like a festival in that people were selling. It was like
Hmm.
more vendor centered. And the shift I wanted to make was more exhibit, like you coming to see the work and putting together. And so I didn't do a theme. I didn't want to try to lock folks into one thing. It's all about just culture. It's all about the vibe. So whatever you feel you want to present, what story you want to tell, that's pretty much what you'll see, the different artists creating their own space to tell whatever stories that they're interested in at the time. And then they'll have an opportunity. They have the things that they sell as well. So great art. I can tell you last year, a lot of the artists sold some of their work. And then we had the vendors as well. So yes, you can walk away. Like you will not only come see and experience the beauty of the art that they're making, you'll actually be able to walk away with some of that if you so choose to support them
I love
in
it
that way.
because this is a good opportunity. I like to tell people if you're looking for gifts for people, and I know people like to go to retail outlets. I do too. I love to stroll through Macy's and TJ Maxx and all the things. But when you're looking for something very unique and special, I mean, you cannot beat a wonderful piece of art for somebody,
Mhm.
particularly from these beautifully made gifts from art from local artists who and you can get to know who are crafting this one. I have a bunch of angels from your mom. Like
Mhm.
I have one like right here. Like
Oh,
I keep
let's
it
see
near.
it.
Oh girl, I keep it near because
I love
I
it.
think I may
Oh.
have three or four of them now. I told her, I said to her, every time I see you, I'm gonna buy one. And then, she gifted me one out of kindness, a couple of them out of kindness. But
Mhm.
these are so beautiful. They're
Thank you.
so beautiful. And this is the
Thank
kind of
you.
art that people can just carry out with them. Like if you
Absolutely.
feel some kind of way about a big piece of art,
Hmm.
this really is this will get
Hmm.
it into your house and you're like, I have a piece of art by an artist that I know who is local, who is talented. I mean, that's how I feel. I mean, these make amazing gifts. So I hope she has some on over the
She
weekend.
does. She does. She's been creating a lot of big stuff lately,
I
right? So
know.
like
Listen.
she's been working on the from the grants and things that she's received, she's working on these big projects. And so but I'm like, hey mom, gotta, can't remember, these are the things that you love to do. So she's been balancing that. So yeah, she definitely has some smaller pieces that she'll sell as well as cards and things like that. So
That'll be
it'll
good.
be
That'll
cool.
be
Yeah,
good.
I think that's the part that I'm hoping me personally is when I go around and I visit like a lot of the exhibits and all these great things that folks are doing. I think we enjoy the seeing of it. I
Hmm.
feel like the opportunity is for people to recognize the value of the work that these artists are creating and to support them in that way. They are one of a kind, unique things that are coming from local artists, like you said. And I think there's an opportunity for us to understand, like when we purchase art and the investment that we're making, not only in the artist, but for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Because it appreciates over time. So they are good investments.
Yes. They are good investments and they are wonderful ways to start creating your own art collection.
Mhm.
This is not Art collecting is not just for the rich and famous.
Mhm.
I buy art, I collect art from local artists. I have small pieces and it just makes me feel so excited to and you never know where people will go in their lives as artists. I mean, Basquiat had to start somewhere, right? Like all
Mhm.
these,
Mhm.
Jason Pollock had to start somewhere. These small Andy Warhol started somewhere. They didn't
Right.
start out selling these artworks for millions and millions of dollars. They started
Mhm.
out, on the corner, people walking by, you want to buy this, you want to buy, like, look at this, and people buying it, $20,
Mhm.
$25, whatever. So, you could really amass a beautiful collection, museum worthy collection of artists. So this is why I
Yes.
like to amplify the arts, because you know what, Karima, I get to see artists that I don't get to see.
Hmm. Hmm.
You know, it's hard to go everywhere to find every artist. So you pulling them all together under one barn gives people opportunity to see what's out there.
Yes, I agree. No, I think that is one of the pieces. I mean, I think, and everything that I do, and I do a lot of different things, it's generally about trying to have people gather. Something about pulling people together and being in space. I enjoy it. So it shows up in, whether I'm doing something from a work town clerk perspective or doing it in any arts. I just love when people gather. I think you just get so much richness from the diversity of thought and the way you show up and how you present, and then I get inspired by what I see, and so I just, yeah, I love it.
I love it. So when you think about the future, because I mean, year three is a big deal. So are you thinking about year four? Like, are you? I mean, I know you have to get through. This weekend is coming, but do you start thinking about already? Now that the pieces are in place, do you start thinking about, well, next year I have an idea?
Mhm. I do.
Really?
I definitely have some ideas on things that I'd like to see and do differently. I appreciate the fact of, like for year, and one and two, the support from the Community Foundation and Arts Council, and helping fund it. And I appreciate the support that the town is providing. So I think I definitely have an opportunity to expand, like sponsorships and to get funding and to grow it. But I definitely wanted to remain rooted in I don't know, about the intimacy of it all. So
Hmm.
I don't really see it. I don't want it to be so big that I lose that. I
Yeah.
enjoy the intimate part of it where people get to literally walk up to artists and have a conversation as they talk about the different, what inspired them, and what did the person who's looking at the art, how are they interpreting it. I think that's a piece of it that I want to maintain. So I have some ideas on things that I would like to do to activate the space differently. May not be the barn. I'm thinking of some other locations. So yes, definitely. I'm always looking for ways to improve. Year three will be better than year one, and year five will, be the best yet. So definitely.
I love it. I think this is a wonderful opportunity to showcase artists. And I love that it's in Hamden because New Haven does a gazillion things. I mean,
Mhm.
and I love that. But it's
Mhm.
nice that a neighboring town is opening its doors to artists in this way. And New Haven people will come, right? Because we'll just
Mhm.
come. It's just up the road.
No.
So it's
Yeah, I
nice.
think, yeah, I'm happy. Hamden has, been a great space for artists, and since I've started moving in the space a little bit more, I see, all of the great arts events that are put on by the town from the arts and culture perspective, the Arts Commission, the Art League. So there are a bunch of different things that are happening from different leaders in this community. I think just last week I was trying to make it there. It was the Spring Glen had like an art walk or something. It was in I think the best video.
Oh
And I was
yeah,
trying to
yeah,
get
yeah.
there, but it was the carnival out, can't be in all the places. So I missed it, but I'm hoping I can catch that next time. So yeah, I love it. I'm glad that it's just showing up in all different places. It's wonderful.
So Karima, as this thing grows, as Amplify the Arts grows, how are the residents in Hamden? Are people excited? Like, are people contacting you like, oh, I missed it the first year and I was there last year. I can't wait to go this year. Like what are you hearing from neighbors and town folk?
It's interesting because this year, I think the town has done a great job of promoting it, as well as, some of the work we've done from our side. So I've received phone calls, from people who, wanted to perform, it's at the 23rd hour. I appreciate it. But people wanting to perform or show up or hear more about it, not necessarily understanding, like, what is this? I really don't know what to expect from this. Is it diverse? Is it, leaning one way versus the other? So I think people are definitely open and receptive to it. So I'm hoping that's reflected in the people that show up this weekend. But so far, I believe the feedback's been good.
And the fact that you've got such a large youth participation, is a really nice touch. Talk a little bit about why that's important. Because I think you had youth before, but not at these numbers.
Yes. So it's actually double. I think last year we had about 27 entries. So what we've done is we through Transcend the Trend, they reach out to the local high schools. And so we ask, we tell them about Amplify the Arts, and we work with the art teachers and staff or what have you. And I actually just have a thing over here of work from Hampden High. And so what it does is it allows for these artists, young artists, to submit work that they're working on, whether it's in school, outside of school, things that they learned in the classroom that they applied or just did at home, and they're submitting that through their teachers to us. And so they have an opportunity to show it to the town. You get to see these young artists, emerging artists who could be our next whomever, right? And giving them a platform and a space to show it. We select 5 of the artists, and that's in partnership with the people that are exhibiting. We determine who the winners are. So you get a gift card. Everybody gets something like a certificate for participating. But yeah, I just think, I'm all for the kids all the time. I'm always looking for ways to include our young people. And I think this is a good way just to show, how talented they are. Because I
Yeah.
mean, it's nice to have the people that people know about, but I like finding the people that people don't know about,
Yeah.
right? I want to see
Yeah.
like who's up and coming, like what, how are you going to show up in the world, and what's going to be your contribution? And that starts really, really young and younger and
Yes.
younger. So having
Yes.
your ears to that and having access to that is always a great thing. I mean, our youth stay saving, us in all kinds of ways. So I'm I'm excited to see the work that's done. And it's really thoughtful. I saw a couple pieces and I was like, whoa,
Yeah, these young
okay.
people could blow your mind,
Yes.
right? Like I feel like the
Yes.
future is all right if they're creating art like this.
Yes.
I feel like the world might be all right.
Yeah. No, I
It
agree.
might be all
I
right.
agree.
Well,
Hmm.
that's wonderful because you know what it does? It gives young people opportunity to play on the same level as established artists, and they get
Hmm.
to see how established artists do it by virtue of being in the same spaces, right?
Hmm.
And finding ways to talk about their art because they see other people talking about their art, and you sort of want to like, oh, that's how you do that. This is what I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna talk about my art that way. So
Hmm.
this is I love that you're giving young people an opportunity to showcase, you know.
Yes. Oh, I'm excited. I'm just trying to figure out like, okay, we're gonna have to make this space. We'll
Right,
figure
because
it out.
the barn is I mean the barn is a big space, but it's
But
not
it's
a
not that
stadium.
big.
Not a stadium. It's a barn. So you have to like
So we're starting to install today. So, we'll get to see like, oh, okay, how do we, we'll make it work. It'll be great. I'm
and
just
so
happy. It's
what's
a
it
good problem
like?
to have.
What's it like to install? What's that like? I mean, because I know you have done installations with your mom because your mom is a world-class artist. But what's it
Mhm.
like to sort of be messing around with other people's art and like, okay, let's figure out where this should go and what is that process like, Karima?
It's interesting. So it's so funny. I think about something Nico said to me one day. we were at Creative Arts Workshop, and my mom was installing for that. I forget the name of that
Yeah,
show. The
I
Nico
was
was
in
the
it.
head of that. Yes, the curator. Yes, you were in it as well, right? So I'm in there and we're putting up stuff, and I was like, oh, I think this might be cool here. I was like, oh, but I'm not a curator. I'm just, I'm just, this is what I'm thinking. And she's like, I was like, yeah, because don't you have to go to school or something? She's like, no, you are a curator. You have a good eye. Like, like this is not a thing that you have to go get a degree for, right? I'm like, oh, so I can just call myself a curator? Like, really? But I'm not minimizing the, curators that put in the work and study it. But there are many routes to getting there. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So to answer your question, it's pretty cool. So you think about what the size of folks' work, what work we think will complement the other, spacing, all of that. So yeah, it's fun. I like it. I like putting things together. I
Hmm.
do. Like, I was like one of those collage, like if I had to say I was an artist, because I'm not, but if I
Yes,
was
you are.
gonna
Everyone's an artist, and everyone's an artist, and everyone's a poet.
Okay. All right. I like putting things together, like collage. Collage would be my thing because I like taking pieces and putting this and, putting it all together and saying, like we have something. So I feel like this gives me an opportunity to do that.
I love it. I love it because I always think about Install Day because I think about Susan Clinard when she's, and she's got massive pieces that she has to, and she's a slip of a woman, right? She's like 5'2", 5'3", maybe 5'4" at best. And she's got to move these big pieces and I'm always impressed that she like s- has a vision for where these things should go. And Shonda Holloway is the same way. She's got a good
Hmm.
eye for
Hmm.
curation. And I've watched these artists over the last several years really sort of, take a bigger role in the curation of their work in
Yes.
spaces, which
Mhm.
I think for an artist is amazing, not to just, to work with whoever the show is about for, produced by, but to also just like, well, I think this piece should go here, and I think this, I think that's a wonderful thing. And I love that you're giving artists opportunity to just be in an untraditional art space or untraditional space that you're going to make for art, for the
Mhm.
exhibition of art, which I love. I mean, a
Yes.
barn is Connecticut, but a barn is a barn at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So,
No, I think so. And what I appreciate is that every artist gets to tell their own story. Like
mhm.
it literally, that's what you're doing. I think about my mom, and when she's installing and she's doing work, she already has like the story she wants to tell in her head, right? And so I think that's what I appreciate about the Amplify the Arts Festival, is that each artist gets to tell their own version of that, whatever that story is. Like you're really, they're curating their space. I'm just helping to say, okay, this person goes here based on what you have, whatever. But they're the ones, they have the autonomy to tell their own story, whatever that is.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And so now tell me about your team, Karima. Who's on your team?
So my team would be me. No, so I have Amplify the Transcendence Trends, that's which is Katie Ramsey, my sister-in-law. She's, when we first did the grant, we did this together. I have my aunt, who does some stuff from New Jersey. And so she helps, and she's putting stuff in, on the scene. So right now, those are the main people that are kind of doing the planning. But many hands, if you know me, my family is
Oh
like right
yeah.
there, and
Oh
they'll be
yeah.
helping to put up and break down. And, so my mom has a show tonight in New Jersey. She's exhibiting there. And so before she goes, she's at the barn making sure that one of the artists gets to hang their work. So, right. So it is like this combination, and then she'll leave, and then someone else will go there to make sure that, you know, we're moving along. So it's because it's funny because as soon as we're done, I'm jumping on with Paul Bass to talk about absentee ballots. Uninstalled it. That's what it is. We work it out. Everybody helps.
But I love that you have this full multifaceted existence, right? Like artist by night and town clerk by day.
It allows for my brain, like, it's the good balance, right?
That's
So
what
it's
I
like this
say. I say
job
that too.
that, you have to be very detail oriented and all the things, and then you can switch up and be just more broad and open and more abstract. So
Yeah. I mean, but that is, when people talk about balance, for me, that is the epitome of balance. To have some creative endeavor, and then the work that you do, wherever you do it. But the creative stuff really supports the stuff that you have to do. I
Mhm.
think so.
Yeah.
I love this is why I love being in the artist space so much, because
Mhm.
it's so expansive. It's a big way to dream about stuff, and I love it. So yeah. So I'm excited about Amplify the Arts. It is Saturday and Sunday, so our Jewish sisters and brothers could show up on Sunday.
Yes,
So you're not missing
absolutely.
anything.
Yes, absolutely. That is really important. I recognize the holiday, and so
And the
thank you.
7 Day Adventist people too, because they have church
Yes.
on Saturday. So
Yes, yes. It's a space for everybody. So if you can't make it Saturday, then you can come on Sunday. If you can't make it Sunday, then come on Saturday, or come both days.
yeah.
Make sure that you visit. There's so many art things that are happening all over the place. So, you can make explore, hit West Haven to see Susan Clenard. I think there's something, is it CETA? I don't know. Is it Change?
Yeah, Changing the Air, Cedar Park downtown
Yep, that's
is having
happening.
their fun thing. And there's some open studios at Erector Square, I think, and at the Ely Center. So there's
Hmm.
open studios are happening all around the city this weekend. So
Yes,
you could really immerse yourself in an artistic, you could just run from art thing to art thing and let that be your weekend, and never have to get
yes.
on the train and go anywhere. You
Right,
could just be in
it's right here.
great in New Haven and see world class, art. So, well, I so appreciate you, Karimah. I know you're busy and taking the time out to come on and talk about Amplify the Arts. You're gonna see me in the space 1 or 2 days. So
I
I'm not
appreciate it.
missing
No,
this. I never
thank
miss.
you.
So, I'm coming because I love this art. And let me make sure I get my coins right, because I might need another angel. And
Mhm. No,
that's what
thank you. I appreciate you taking the time and allowing me to get on here and talk about Amplify the Arts. I do appreciate it. And so I hope to see everybody. Yeah.
Yes. And I must
Yeah.
say, you look stunning at the Delta 65th anniversary gala for the New Haven alumni chapter. That dress was royalty. I thought,
Thank you.
man, she looked like a princess or a queen in this thing. You looked amazing. And it just,
Thank you.
however way you floated, it floated.
Well, listen, let me just shout out to Bushra, I think that's her name.
Oh, yes.
Kay, oh, listen, it needed some tucks and some, and I called Kay, I was like, Kay, help. She's like, I have the perfect person. And I'm telling you, she turned it around overnight. And so I thank you. Shout out to
Yeah.
Bushra. She was
Well,
great.
it looked tailor-made. I'm telling you, you look beautiful. That was a
Thank
fun night, a
you.
really, really fun night. So, all right. Well, I know
Yeah.
you got to jump on with Paul Bass in a bit. So, but thank you for the time, and it's good seeing you. And I will see you over the weekend. Amplify the Arts this weekend, people. Make your way to the Eli Whitney Barn up on Whitney Avenue. You won't be disappointed.
Thank you, Babs. Thank you,
All right.
Harry. Take care. Have a good
Yes.
one.
Have a good one.
All
Have a good one. All right, Harry. Thank you. Welcome back. And I'll be back tomorrow. I'll see you all tomorrow.
right.